Hello, Knights, and welcome to your next lesson. This one is talking about the meaning, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it will make more sense at the end if you don't know what the mean is, but we're just going to jump right in. This introductory part here, I know that it does not make as much sense as I'm talking about it, so stick with me. It's going to get easier, I promise. But if this first part is confusing to you, that is okay. I just want to mention that we will do something like this tomorrow with actual blocks, and it may make more sense to you then. But for now, just bear with me. We're going to have some grit, and we're going to push on through. So where we have at the start, it says, imagine you have 4 towers with the heights 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 5 blocks, and 7 blocks. And if you notice, I've already given you what those look like in the picture there. So using only these 4 towers, we want to create 4 new towers with an equal number of blocks. So we want to take all of these blocks and we want to make new towers, and we want all the towers to be the same. So basically what we're going to do is redraw the towers as if we had used the cubes and rearranged them. So again, this part, I know it may sound confusing at first. So what we want to do is take the big blocks here, and we want to give them to the little box so that all of the other towers can be the same height. So we're going to take one from this one here, and we're going to stick it on the short one. Now, this one is still a little bit taller, so we're going to take it and we're going to put it on, actually let me change colors so it'll make it easier. So we're going to take this one and put it here. So notice this one would be 4 now, this one would be 3, but I still have these extra ones here. So I'm going to move this one to, let me go back to my blue color. This one here, I'm also going to move to this one. So now these two would be gone, this one would be gone, and they would all be 4. So my new towers would look like this. Four towers are all the same, and they all have 4 blocks. And if you're confused on how I got these all, so I'm going to go back and just kind of color these. So pretend like for a second, these are the orange ones. So there's 4 orange. But notice I moved some of the orange ones here to this one. We had some green, so let's make this guy green. These all started out, actually I guess that's more like a turquoise. Let's see if we can get a turquoise going. Is there a turquoise? That'll work. All right, so these started out here, but notice I moved this block over to this one. And then, I don't really have a good color for this one, so we'll just use these. These were here, and these started out here. So the color coding may have helped you understand what exactly happened, but basically I took the blocks from the tall towers and I moved them to the shorter ones so that they all became the same height. And again, if that's super confusing to you, it's okay. We are going to use actual blocks tomorrow, and you'll get to see in class what that actually looks like. So this is what I'm expecting you to draw here, the new towers. With color, great. Without color is fine too. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we have a couple of new towers. Our first tower is too tall, so I need to draw 2. Actually, that's going to be too big. Let me make it a little bit smaller. 2. Then we have one that's got 3. Then we got one that's got 5. And then we got one that's super tall compared to the rest of them, and it's got 10. All right, so we have 2, 3, 5, and 10. So whenever I take the tallest tower, I want to, again, I'm going to just like take one of the blocks off, move it to the short one. Take a block off, move it to the short one. Take a block off, move it to the short one. So now I've got 5 on one tower, but this one's still too big. I'm going to take a block off, put it here. Take a block off, put it here. And notice whenever I'm done, there's 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, 5 here. So all my new towers would be the same height, and they would all be 5. I know that your drawings may not be as pretty as mine. It's okay. We can't all be perfect tower drawers like I am. So my new towers, they're all equal to 5. And again, if you have colors, great. That may make it easier to understand, but if you don't have colors, then you can still just draw it the way that I have. All right, so moving on to the next page, key points. Key point number 1. In building our towers, we explored what it means to find the center of some data points. Although we had 4 different towers with 4 different heights, we rearranged them to find a single height that represents the mean or the average of all the towers. So what we just did, that's what we call finding the mean or the average. You need to be familiar with both of these words. You need to know that mean and average mean the same thing. So whenever I say mean in your head, you also know that that means the word average. And when I say average, you also know that that means mean. Okay, they mean the same thing. I'm saying the word mean a lot, and it sounds like it's very confusing to me now, but mean and average mean the same thing. So, you know that they mean the same thing, but what do they actually mean? So key point number 2, define the average, aka the mean. So to find the average of a set of data, we can also add all the values together, then divide by the number of data points. So there's 2 steps, adding and then dividing. Example number 1, if we go back to our first example, the heights of the tower that we used were 2, 3, 5, and 6. So I'm going to first add 2 plus 3 makes 5. 5 plus 5 makes 10. So I've got 2, 3, 5, and then 10 plus 6 makes 16. So the sum is 16. Now the next step is to divide the sum. So the sum we said was 16. And you're going to divide it by the number of values. So whenever I look here in my list of numbers, I had 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. So I'm going to divide 16 by 4 because that's how many numbers I added together. 16 divided by 4 gives me 4. Right? Bada bing, bada boom. Notice this is actually the height of my new towers on the first page, right? Each of these towers was 4. So whenever we go back and look, this represents the same thing as the towers. The towers reach 4 because the average was 4, or the mean. So I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to have you pause the video and try the next ones without me. So we are going to calculate the mean for the previous problems. Then we're going to check what we got. So first thing, we're going to take these 4 numbers, we're going to add them. 2 plus 3 makes 5. 5 plus 5 makes 10. 10 plus 10 makes 20. To find the mean, I take 20 and I divide. Then I have to go back and ask myself, how many numbers did I add? 1, 2, 3, 4. 20 divided by 4 gives me 5. So whenever we did this problem, you may also remember that 5 was how tall my towers were for the other problem on here. So we found the mean on this problem, and now we just proved it using math instead of the towers. So I want you to go ahead and pause now. You're going to do this one, and this one. You're going to add those numbers up and then divide by the number of numbers. Whenever you have completed these 3 problems, you may go ahead and unpause the video and check your work. Did you pause it? Pause the video, pause the video. Do the work, do the work. All right, let's go ahead and start checking these. So, next problem, we have a couple of numbers here. Let's go ahead and add these guys up. 2 plus 4 makes 6. Plus 5 makes 11. 11 plus 8 makes 17. Am I adding these right? Nope, it doesn't make 17, it makes 19. I knew I made a mistake. That makes 19, that's why I'm using a pencil. 19 plus 16 gives me 35. So adding these all up should have given me 35. Then I go back and count. How many did I add together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I divide 35 by 5, and that gives me 7. Again, if you did not pause the video and do these yourself, this is literally a waste of your time. It's just adding and dividing. So if you're just sitting here watching me add and divide without doing it yourself, you're wasting your time. You're not learning. So again, if you did not pause, do them now. Okay, great. Thanks for pausing and doing them. So next one, I'm going to add these guys up. 5 plus 9 gives me 14. 14 plus 12 gives me 26. 26 plus 10 gives me 36. I was getting ahead of myself. I already knew the answer. 36 divided by, count how many did I add? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I divide by 4. 36 divided by 4 gives me 9. So in all my years of teaching this, the most common thing that students are experiencing right now is they're trying to figure out, why did I divide by 5 here, but divide by 4 here and divide by 4 here? So again, I'm going to repeat just to make sure we understand. Whenever you are dividing, you're counting how many numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how many numbers I added, so that's what I divide by. Here, I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry. I added 5 numbers, so I divide by 5. Whew, I need a drink. All right, here we go. Next one. 2 plus 3 gives me 5. Plus 8 gives me 13. Plus 10 gives me 23. 23 plus 17 gives me 40. 40 plus 20 gives me 60. So I should have had 60. Then I go back and count. How many numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 60 divided by 6 means my average or my mean is 10. Again, this is just adding them all up and then dividing by however many numbers I added. So we are actually going to shift now away from the mean or the average, and we're going to talk about something else called the median. So you may have heard of the median before. If you don't know what that is, here's our definition. The number that is in the center of a set of data when ordered least to greatest is called the median. So basically we have a list of numbers, we put them from least to greatest, and we find the one that's in the center or the middle. So whenever you see this word center in your brain, you need to just like memorize. Center is what we also call the median. They mean the same thing. Star may tell you center, it may tell you median. You need to be able to see both of those words and see and recognize what they mean. So first thing we have to do, take our list of numbers and we're going to put them in order from least to greatest. In this list of all these numbers, what is the smallest value? That's right, 4 is the smallest. The next smallest is 7. Then we have 8. Then we have 9. That's a 9. Then we have another 9. Then we have 10. Then we have another 10. I'm going to actually write these a little bit farther apart so y'all can tell. Another 10. Then we have 11. Then 12. Then another 12. And then a 13. And then a 14. And then 19. So, super difficult, right? Putting them in order from least to greatest. Now, to find the median, we want to find which one is in the middle. So, what I recommend doing is just putting little X's underneath them on the left side and then one on the right. That way I can remember. I've taken one from this side and then I've taken one from that side, and eventually I'll get into the middle. So, take one from both sides. Sorry. Take one from both sides until you got just the middle left. So, take one from here, 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 take one from here. And notice, in the end, I'm left with the number in the middle, so the median in this set of numbers is 10. So if it looks like a lot of work, it's really not. It's just put them in order from least to greatest, and then find the one in the middle. All right, moving on. Key point number 3. The median, yes, you find the one in the middle, but there's a special case. So key point number 3, when a data set has an even number of points, the median is the mean of those two numbers in the middle. So what that means, in the example that we just did, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 dots, 13 numbers. That means that there is going to be one in the middle. But whenever I look here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers. There will not be one in the middle whenever I put them in order. But let's just go ahead and put them in order and see what happens. So first number is 6, then we got another 6, then we got a 7, then we got an 8, then we got a 10, then we got a 12, then we got a 20, then we got a 24. So they're in order from least to greatest. Whenever I start taking them off, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Uh-oh, there's no number in the middle. So what I'm actually going to do is erase those. I'm going to look here, and I'm going to find 8 and 10. The median is actually the mean or the average of those two numbers. And if you forgot already, then you can go back and check. How do you find the mean? Well, the mean says I first need to add all the numbers and then divide by how many things I added. So in this problem, I'm adding 10 plus 8, which gives me 18. Then I'm going to divide 18 by how many things I added, which was 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So this median is actually 9. So you add them together, divide by 2. All right, for the next one, start by putting these in order from least to greatest first. 24 is the smallest. 28 is my next smallest. Then I have 32. Then 42, 55, and 72. Take one from here, take one from here, take one from here, take one from here. 32 plus 42 is what I have left. Since there's 2 in the middle, I have to find the mean by adding them. 32 plus 42 gives me 74. Then I need to divide that by 2 because that's how many numbers I added. 7 goes into 2 3 times. 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring down my 4. 2 goes into 14 7 times, so this one is 37. So the median for this one is 37. All right, your task for the rest of this video is to find the mode of these 3 sets. So this guy, this guy, this guy. Then you need to find the median of this guy and the mean of these 2. These 6 problems should not take you more than 10 minutes. If it's taking you more than 10 minutes, then I really suggest that you go back and look at what we do for these. And if you forgot what the mode is, lucky you, the definition is right here for you, so you don't have to go back and look it up in your notes. You're welcome. I just gave it to you, saved you some time. So, like I said, there should be something here, here, and here. And then here, make sure before you try to find the median, you put them in order. So there should be an answer here, and something here, something here. Finding the mean takes 2 steps, so there should be some work here and some work here. Do not leave it blank. I've shown you specifically where we will be looking for your work, so if you are missing work in these areas, then you should be prepared to receive a demerit. And hopefully that does not happen because you are a diligent, hardworking student who's at home right now, ready to finish these problems so that you can learn and come back to class tomorrow, ready to take advantage of our practice time. I hope you guys have a good evening, and we will see you tomorrow.